Mohawk Motors. My name is Jason. I present to you for the last time in this car, the 3800 V6. That was really anticlimactic. Let's get this stupid thing out of here and fix this car. Okay, let's get the engine and transmission out of this thing. Starts out like any other engine and transmission removal. Get your plastic stuff disconnected, your cooling system, your power steering system, your air conditioning, and your electrical. Get all of that stuff disconnected and out of your way. It's a pretty straightforward approach. Alright everybody, this is actually going faster than I expected it to. Let me show you where I'm at so far and some things to be aware of and look out for if you're doing this yourself. So, on the passenger side over here, I removed the PCM. I've got the wire harness all draped back over the engine here. There is a wire harness that runs in through the firewall right down there. It unplugs right behind the kick panel. So you don't have to cut anything. It's not a hassle to get to. You can get all the wire harness out and over the engine relatively easily. The rest of it connects here on these three connectors. And then obviously you've got a vacuum line and your heater hoses that run to your heater core back up there. That's pretty much it over here on the passenger side of the car. On the driver's side, there's actually no wiring on this side. You'll have your fuel lines that you need to get disconnected, your steering linkage that you'll need to disconnect from the steering shaft down to the steering rack. The brake lines, don't forget to disconnect your brake lines that run down to the K-member for your front brakes. Otherwise, you're going to end up getting hung up on those. I removed the master cylinder in order to get to the two Torx bits that hold the top of the strut tower or the strut in place here. The vacuum booster line. All of your power steering lines, you can leave all that stuff hooked up because you're going to be pulling the power steering pump, the steering rack, that's all coming down with your K-member. I think that's pretty much it. The only thing I have left connecting the car itself to the K-member or the drivetrain is the clutch hose, which I'll disconnect that from underneath. But that clutch hose has a push lock type connection down at the slave cylinder. So I'll get that undone, get the drive shaft pulled out, get the shifter undone from inside. I got to unbolt the shifter handle from the shifter mechanism itself. And then I'll pretty much be able to unbolt the K-member and lift the car up off of it. And I've got what I think is a pretty solid plan to do that too. So I'm going to get underneath the car, get that stuff undone, and then I'll be able to pop back up and hopefully get this engine and transmission out of this thing tonight. So in order to get the shifter mechanism out, you need to remove your center console. It's just held in with a couple 7mm bolts and a couple 10mm bolts. Very straightforward. They're all easily visible. So you get those 7mm and 10mm out. There is a rubber boot that goes over it right there. That's also held in with 7mm bolts. Once you get the rubber boot out of the way, your shifter mechanism will be right here. It's just held in place with 4 13mm bolts. You just take those 4 13mm out and your shifter lifts straight up out of the transmission. So now that's ready that when I lower the engine and transmission down, it'll fall straight out. It won't get caught on the shifter boot or anything like that. So now, lift the car up, get most of the stuff unbolted from underneath. I'm basically just going to leave 1 or 2 bolts in the K member and then lower it back to the floor, take those 2 bolts out, and then lift the car up off of the engine and K member. Hopefully. That's my plan. We'll see if it works. All right, team. Well, I think we're at the moment of truth here. I've got everything under the car disconnected. Transmission cross member, drive shaft, torque arm, clutch line, wheel speed sensors, pretty much everything. Front sway bar. I've been over it twice now, double checking. The only thing left holding the engine and transmission in the car is the 6 K member bolts. So I'm gonna get this thing, get everything rigged up to where I believe I'm gonna be able to lift it safely, and then lower down to the floor, lift up as high as unbolt, and then lift up and hopefully lift the car up off of the engine and transmission. So be a big progress night for me if I can get this done. I'm going to do it and do it as safely as I possibly can. So I've got my dolly underneath the K member there. I've got my chain hooked on the inside edge of the frame rail on both sides. So my plan here is pick the car up just a little bit, get the jack stands out from under it, lower it so the K member with the engine and transmission attached sits down on my dolly, unbolt the remaining K member bolts. I took out the 2 that are hardest to access, so there's 4 left holding it on. I'll take those 4 bolts out, and then I should be able to raise the car up and leave the engine and transmission just sitting there on the dolly. I think it's gonna work. All right, everybody, here we go. Wish me luck. Okay, I think I'm off the jack stand. 1. There's the other. Okay, now I'm going to gently lower until the K member is resting on my dolly. Okay. Now I need to get my remaining K member bolts out. There's 2. There's 3. There's my last one fighting me, of course. There's 4. That should have the engine, transmission, K member just sitting on my dolly. I should be able to lift the car up and off of it. Oh, it looks promising. Got my brake lines around here. There we go. Huh. think we did it, guys. I feel like I missed a ground wire somewhere. There's got to be some ground between this engine and the body. Man, oh man, it's working! Up, up, up we go. I think we're just about high enough. Let's go a little bit more. And I think we're just about there, team. I'm like paranoid my hood is going to slide off and get all messed up. I think a couple more pumps. There we go. Okay. Now, will I be able to actually roll this thing out? That is the tricky part here. We're just gonna... Oh, what are you stuck on? There we go. Come to me. Oh my gosh. I mean, a fingernail's width between the intake manifold and this little piece of the body here. Woohoo! Ha 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 ha! Yes! I'm pretty proud of myself for figuring out how to do that. Who needs a lift? It would have been way easier with a lift. But still, didn't need it. This is awesome. Oh, I'm so pumped. This was like the one thing I didn't know if I'd be able to figure out. And here we are. So, for the first time ever, for me, I've never pulled this off before. I had every single thing disconnected before I started to remove the engine. Like, I've never done that before. Every single time I've ever pulled an engine before, there's been a ground wire or a cable or something that I missed that was still connected. And I didn't have that this time. I remembered and got everything disconnected. I'm gonna need some of the parts and pieces off of this. I'll need the lower control arms. I'll basically need everything from here out on both sides, and the steering rack. I unboxed my K-member the other day. They sent me the wrong K-member. So it looks like they're at least gonna let me return it. I got the correct K-member ordered today. Hopefully that will be here soon. All right, everybody, I'm calling it for this video. Massively successful evening. I am super excited to have gotten as far as I did. I did not think that I was going to be able to get that whole engine and transmission out of the car in one evening. But here we go. Cleared out. So much room for activities now. All in all, I'm super, super happy. I can't wait for the rest of my parts to get here and start getting this thing put back together. The next video you see will probably be me getting started on the wiring or finishing getting the engine and transmission actually physically together and ready to go back into the car. The 3.8 and the T5, I think I'm going to hold on to these. I have an idea, something I think might be fun to do with this. So I'm going to hold on to them for the time being. No new parts going on in this video, so no price update on the running total so far. Yeah, team, I'm really, really excited. I hope you're excited too. We're coming in on the home stretch for this project, I believe. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're learning something. So far, I am not thinking this is as difficult a conversion as I've read that it is. And maybe I just have a higher tolerance of labor than other people do. I don't know. But we're going to get it done. It's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. I've wanted this car since I was a teenager. I can't wait to have it together. Thanks again for watching, and until the next video, take care. Yeah! What? You know, I just wanted to feel the power of 3800 between my legs.
All right, just wanted to feel the power between my legs, brother.